It's always the quiet places that hit the loudest, because nobody expects a murder charge to come out of a small Donegal village where everybody knows your name, your family, your business, and probably what you had for dinner last week. Yet, here we are, a respected businessman, a tight-knit community, and now a man formally charged with murder. And that charge alone has changed everything. Let's slow this down, because this story is not just about what happened outside the home in Ardora. It's about shock, silence, and a courtroom moment that froze an entire county. Stephen McCahill was not a stranger in Donegal, far from it. He was 66 years old, married, a father of two, a businessman, an auctioneer, and a publican who co-owned a well-known local bar. He was once named Donegal Person of the Year. People described him as a connector, the kind of man who held communities together without even trying. The type of person whose death does not stay private. Early in the morning, on the 5th of January, guards were called to a house in B, near Ardora. It was just before 4 in the morning. Stephen McCahill was found outside his home. He was unresponsive. Despite emergency efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Almost immediately, guards confirmed they were treating it as a homicide following an assault. A post-mortem examination was carried out, and Donegal went quiet. Because when something like this happens in a place like Ardora, the silence is loud. People stop talking. Not because they do not care, but because they care too much. Within hours, the area was sealed off. Guards began house-to-house inquiries. They preserved the scene. They gathered statements. They reviewed CCTV in the area. They followed timelines, movements, and last known interactions. And then, just as quickly as the shock arrived, so did the arrest. A man in his early 30s was detained under the Criminal Justice Act for questioning. He remained in custody as guards continued their investigation. And then came the moment that shifted this case from tragedy to full criminal proceeding. On the 6th of January, a 32-year-old man named Michael Maloney from Low Gross Point in Ardora appeared before Letterkenny District Court. It was a special sitting. The charge was read. Michael Maloney was formally charged with the murder of Stephen McCahill. No dramatic outburst, no speech, no explanation. He made no reply when the charge was put to him. That silence mattered, because in Irish courts, silence at charge is not unusual, but emotionally, it hits hard for the family, for the community, for everyone watching this unfold. The court heard that the alleged murder occurred at Big, Ardora on the 5th of January, because the charge is murder. There was no application for bail. That decision can only be made by the High Court. Maloney was remanded in custody. He is expected to appear again by video link. During the court hearing, the defense stated that Maloney has a diagnosed psychiatric condition and requested that he receive appropriate medication while in custody. That information was noted by the court, and that is where the public record stops. No motive announced, no weapon discussed publicly, no explanation given in court, just a charge. And sometimes that is the heaviest part. Outside the courtroom, the reaction was immediate. Tribute continued to pour in for Stephen McCahill. Local people spoke about his kindness. Public figures acknowledged his impact. Musician Emil Damay was among those who paid tribute. In small Irish towns, death is personal, but violent death that changed the emotional weather completely. People replay timeline in their heads. They question routine. They took familiar places differently. And now the investigation moves into its next phase. Guards will continue preparing the file for the Director of Public Prosecution. Forensics results will be examined. Statements will be reviewed again. Every detail will be tested again. The charge does not exist. And here is the key thing people need to understand. A charge does not mean a conclusion. It means the case has crossed a legal threshold, not an emotional one. For Stephen McCahill's family, the loss remains permanent. For the accused, the legal process is only beginning. And for Donegal, this story is far from over. Because when a man known by almost everyone dies violently outside his own home, the questions do not stop at the courtroom door. They linger, they echo, and they wait. If you want fast updates on Irish true crime, subscribe. We cover everything before it hits mainstream headlines. Thank you.